So we saw some nice stuff in the sky
Mm-hmm.
this evening. I say we were seeing a lot of nice stuff. It's very interesting. What do you think that looked like in the sky?
It reminded me of Galaxy at one point
A galaxy.
when it was like that S and circleish S shape. So
Very interesting, hey?
yeah.
That was
And
very nice.
and bow tie at one point when it was like
yeah.
yeah.
And a lot of swirling.
Hmm?
Anyway, that could be among a lot of things, to be honest. You can sit here trying to guess that all day, but unless anyone comes forward with a booster has gone a bit AWOL in two places, could be, might not be. But there were multiple things there. There was a lot of things before
Yeah.
the aircraft come over. There were a lot of other things douching around. Interesting. Anyway, but I don't know, it kind of freaked Lynn out a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, she'll harden to it. It shouldn't be something to be feared, really. But yeah, so when we was looking at most things on the planet, yes, we often see things as stopped in time almost. When we actually look at things, we're not really calling them what they are because we've given it another name. Well, you could say that would be a mountain, or that's a volcano, or that's this. But it's crystal. All of these things are crystals. When you think about it, is it Miranda? It's Miranda, a moon called Miranda. I think it's Uranus's moon. I'm not sure. Miranda. Bit hodgepodgey, yeah.
Yeah, one moon is hodgepodgey.
And it's a little bit. It looks like it's been split apart, and
Yeah, like you put stones together, big stones together, and they somehow, when you look at them from the distance, you wonder how they hold together.
yeah, which is quite
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
To be fair, that you see in an event like that, they say that the moon crashed into the Earth, which yeah, all right, fair enough. That works up until you start looking at the other gas giants. Because really, do you think if Io crashed into Jupiter, it would go into its orbit? No, I'm pretty sure Jupiter could absorb that.
Yeah, that would eat it, wouldn't it?
So that would then pose the question then, that it seems more likely. You see, and then you got north and south, yeah?
Yeah.
And stars have, north and south as well, yeah?
Yeah.
So somewhere along the mid-range, you've got to have a little bit of both, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is neither close nor further away. So at the core, then this makes me ask the question about moons and planets.
Yeah.
Maybe not all of them, because you can't. It's very interesting for me. This one is quite an interesting thing. See, when I look at the north and south, yes,
Yeah.
I often ask the question of why. And you'll boggle your mind on why quite a lot of the time. And then moons are usually gravitated around towards the equator. Yeah?
Yeah.
Planets, by and large, seem to be the equator of the sun, yes?
Yeah.
That is going to bug me so much. I'm going to put that into an N. So, it seems to be in this sort of...
Yeah.
And a Voyager 1 goes up, and then the signal is lost, yes?
Yeah.
Pioneer 2, 1. 2? Not sure, Pioneer. One of the Pioneers also did this, and the signal is not reached, but ones that go this way seem to be kept in that signal ratio. Now, whether that is due to antennas or not, or whether you have to stay in this sort of happy medium range,
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it?
and then most moons, although it's not perfect, and then you take the rings of Saturn, again, where are they gravitating towards?
Yeah.
Around this north and south range, south
Yeah.
and north range.
All the gas giants have them round the widest area, don't they?
Yeah, so you could say that gravity is stronger there, but that wouldn't make any sense. That keeps it further away, closer to, further away, closer to. It's sort of breathing. And the planets are also seem to be doing this movement of breathing. And when I then look at that and I ask the question as to why, and that throws something else at me that stands out quite a lot when I begin to look at this stuff. This stuff fascinates me a lot, by the way. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. We're going to dress this up like a Christmas tree, right?
Okay.
The magnetic core is never north up here, south down here. You know, it sloshes. Yes?
Yeah.
And I think it sloshes for a reason. And I also think that when you ask, why is there a north, why is there a south? Well, this throws in a very fundamental question then. Another one, is the planet alive? This was when I was talking many years back about planets that don't have magnetic fields are dead planets.
Yeah, you said that.
People sort of look at you like, what the fuck is he on about? And then when you buckle a magnetic field, it's technically a dead planet. Yes, this is exactly it. So what about the moon? That seems to have some, not this moon, but another one on it. But people will throw things at you, and I like that because it's, that's a good point, really, isn't it? But magnetism can be charged. If you think about it, if I take a fork. I was going to say something else because it comes to mind first. But anyway, if I take a fork that's magnetic and I rub it with a magnet, it'll also pick up and become magnetized. So anything brushing in between this sort of north-south is being rubbed. Although you can't see it, because that's the problem with magnetism. You can't see it, but it doesn't mean it's not there. But why does it have it? And then why do other stars have it? Why do you all have this magnetism? Well, I think positioning. And then why do you have this positioning? You know, as much as you think the planets are being formed, I think there's two types of formation. One in the gas cloud, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, yeah? But I also think that there's continuous building that happens in terms of meteorites. Now, some stars blow quicker than others, and some stars last longer than others, and some hold on and hold on and hold on. So there is this white dwarf. Now, it's very interesting because in my mind, I like to go away with things like this and just see what I can build in my mind. Again, it is a supercomputer. So is AI. But, again, AI don't know shit unless you program it to know it. So, meh. I don't accept it, right? So until it's literally able to think for itself, and you'll be like, oh, it does think for itself. No. And even if it did, how do you know what it's thinking about then is accurate?
Yeah.
You need to test a human to find out whether they're accurate. How do you test a robot exactly if you believe it? Again, it's a belief system. I'm not going to give that system the belief it needs until prove it. So, no. No, this little dwarfy thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, if this star, being a star, it knows its behavior.
Yeah.
Right? It knows how to act like a star. Then I question that. How do you know to act like a star? Well, again, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you ask that, how do you know to be a human? How does the animal know how to be an animal? How do you know that?
How do we all know where our place is?
You see? Isn't that a beautiful question? how do you know how to be a star? So when it's a little dwarf, yes.
Mm-hmm.
What's it holding on for? Like, you could say because it doesn't want to die. Well, then you'd have to say that it is living in the first place, and then to say that it is living means that it was acting like it was living, and it knows a script.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, well, it's a fusion engine. Okay, a fusion engine knows how to be a fusion engine. Why? How? How do you know to do that? How does it know to take this and mix this? Okay, so I got a question, right? Because the universe stands out and it starts to speak to you in ways like, just have a look at this, have a think about this. Is this it? Maybe. Maybe not. And then we look at planets and planet formation, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at Jupiter as well. Right, I'm building this as we go, okay? So I'm prone to get things wrong sometimes in this sort of process, but I will align as I go. So you just have to bear with me because, you know, I like to make mistakes during the process. So we're going to make this one Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
Now, to me, Jupiter stands out. It stands out very much. Either was, but it's acting like something. I recognize you, Jupiter. You are acting like a primordial star. That's before it becomes a star, yes?
Yeah.
So then I learned that there are more than one ways to make a star. Current knowledge, what you accept inside a cloud and different things. Yes. But there is also another way.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say Jupiter, and then it will take me back to this dwarf here in a minute, okay?
Yeah.
So if Jupiter, again, is an experiment that I would like to conduct, but damn, humans, we're just not there yet, are we? I mean, but if we were, we could run this experiment.
Yeah.
And this would be fun. Let's say that we've built, I don't know, a habitat that lifts all the... This would be a very nice idea. I would like to be able to start the ball rolling with being able to say, right, all humans on the planet, we're going to lift you up.
Mm-hmm.
On your own planet, with your own star that you made. Well, what does that look like? Well, a bit like if you were to grow plants under lights, which has been proven over and over again. Technically, you give it what it needs, yes?
Yeah.
Think that nature and run along with it, you're already there. But that's all humans, okay? And then you have all humans, and then hopefully, if worked correctly, along with an army or fleet of robotics.
Yeah.
Lovely, right? That we-ness again, but not I and a few, because it won't work.
Yeah.
Just trust me. I'll reveal this one further down, because if not, it gets too complicated. But, and then let's say that this was all achieved, okay? And it's all animals, all plants, everything. You basically just move the garden, and just basically you're replanting it, so that everything can thrive at 100%. Sounds impossible. Actually, it's very possible because it has been happening on your planet already. Something gave you that opportunity, and it's like, start the stopwatch.
Yeah.
You've got this long to get going. Get past a certain point, forget it.
Yeah.
But by and large, collectively or individually, that was your choice. But let's say we get that far, okay? And then all of this sort of stuff comes along, and you go to leave the solar system, yeah?
Okay.
But before we go,
Yeah.
and we're taking everything that you need, got it orbiting around like a moon.
Yeah.
Basically, it shows you have your storage stuff around you.
Yeah.
Nice. Whether that's water that you've collected. And then there's just some debris left over. Let's say you don't choose to pop your star. You think it's too risky. Maybe it is. So you decide to play with Jupiter.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? Well, let's just say, because we're going to think out the box and have some critical thinking, you manage to combine Saturn with it.
Yeah.
All for science. Just science perfect. Just, you know, I just want to see this for science. And you might understand something. Again, like I say, does AI know this? Probably not right now, until you do it, and then you'll be like, now I've got to reprogram all of this stuff. Let's say you put Saturn into Jupiter, and it starts nuclear fusion. Well, then that's two ways to make stars then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then that would mean that even Earth is capable and a subject that could become a star one day.
Yeah.
Well, providing that there was a lot of mathematics. And this would help you understand then star explosions a lot more, in a lot more detail.
Yeah.
Now go back to the little dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long shot, but does it happen? That's the question. What happens if a rogue Jupiter that was not blown in the star that it got exploded, but was pushed towards a dwarf?
Don't know.
You don't know.
No.
But if you were able to put Saturn... You see, at the end of the day, the main star, that the sun, that is functioning right now, is keeping everything in an alignment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's domineering the gaps in between each of the planets, whichever way you want to look at that. It even got control of the Oort cloud as well.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps if there's no sun, Jupiter maintains top-notch space.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Then I look at this thing called a magnetic pole. North and south, north and south. And then if you get onto an explosion, I like seeing that on that. Anyway, so if you get an explosion of another star, X, Y, Z away, and it goes in all directions, right?
Yeah.
The easiest way to understand this is to take something very molten out into space. So let's say if you could make something in space, but again, it becomes quite spheroid, right?
Yeah.
You get a lot of spheres,
Yeah, you do.
unless there's an event that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So water takes on this sort of shape in space, yeah?
Spherical too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless something happens.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really use this as an example of water because it just doesn't work out very well like that. Because water is sticky.
Yeah, it is.
And again, most medium is quite absorbent to it, whether it's rust or this, that, and the other, sweat, blah, 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 really cold, and different gases tend to collapse down. So the only really real way you get water, really, technically, you can say that meteorites are leaving a vapor trail. But if you think about it, isn't that hydrogen and oxygen?
Yes, it is, isn't it?
And then as it gets closer to the sun, it begins to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a comet tail coming off of it,
Mm-hmm.
which can cause it to move all over the place. Is that really water?
It's gases, isn't it?
It's gases.
Mm.
But then where are these gases coming from? Well, don't gases get overpressurized in heat?
Yeah.
So if you heat gas, what happens? If you heat certain gases, what happens if I blow a load of hot air towards a crisp packet?
Crisp. Okay.
A crisp packet, a sealed crisp packet.
Uh-huh. Is it puffed?
It puffs up,
Yeah,
doesn't it? Or on an aeroplane,
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
puff up.
yeah.
Pringles tins and stuff, they puff up.
Yeah.
If I carry on going with that heat,
It will
pop.
pop.
So that would then lead me to understand then
Yeah.
that whatever that hunk of stuff is,
Mm-hmm.
solidified very quickly in a gassy environment.
Yeah.
So therefore it build up with pressure. And if there's hydrogen and oxygen inside there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's building up with pressure, if there's enough pressure, can that then make moisture? If you take a cup out into space with
Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
it separates.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How do you get water in space, long distances, if all it wants to do is separate? Well, you can't.
You have to take it separated.
You'd have to encase it, which then makes me wonder something else, right? So when looking for evidence, you've got to you've got to be a detective. So I'll put that cap on quickly for a hot second. So we talk about stars exploding, and they can have hydrogen in it. They can also make oxygen. They can also make carbon. Now, whether it's from one to the other, I don't think it's quite like that. I think it contains a fucking shocking amount of carbon in it and a shocking amount of oxygen in it, but I don't think it exhausts all of its gas onto the next stage.
Yeah.
I think it keeps it. Its memory might be holding on to certain elements. Not many, but just a few. Just a few. But in our understanding of it, human perspective, that's a lot. That's a huge amount. Then when it goes to explode on its last, it depends on what it was. Supernova, even a dwarf, when it puffs off its outer layers.
Yeah.
This moltenness, that's 1 minute molten, liquid almost, flies away from it and crystallizes immediately in minus 350 degrees, well, below zero, let's say. So below zero, away from the star, reaching into space. So there you have a crystal, but inside the crystal, you have pockets of gas.
Yeah.
Some of it is, it's not a perfect, humans like things to be all symmetrical and perfect, right?
Yeah.
Not all, because some people like it a little uneven. But let's say that when you make something, you try and make it as perfect all the way around, yes? It's all perfect, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect amount of volume in here versus the wick system, if you want to call it that, the felt that goes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all perfect all the way around, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? But in space, it don't work like that. It means that there's a thicker bit here and a thinner bit here and a bit more lumpy a bit over here, because it's strung out of the star whilst being molten, and it's stretched and it crystallized. And anything that's inside the star at the time, whatever that may be, the outer edges are all going to burn off, let's say. So if there is any water there, seems unlikely, it's any gases that are there are going to come off on the surface.
Yeah.
And then it's going to become dormant, not extinct, dormant. And as this travels and it gets closer to another star, i.e. heat, that's then when those pockets of gas inside it that have been trapped in it, nothing got the star and was like, right, I'm going to squish out all these gases, I'm going to roll it all down and make the pastry perfect. Because, it wasn't thinking about the clay motion, was it?
No.
You can't leave any air inside your clay. Why not? Because as soon as you put it in the kiln, it's going to pop, right? So you've got to get out all the air. You mustn't have any air. Space is not thinking that. It's not going, I better get the air out of here, right? I better get the other elements out of this. So it doesn't do that. It goes, it traps it, it puts these different gases inside it, and then when it starts getting closer to the sun, it starts in some of the thinner area, it perhaps creates a fissure because the pressure starts building up on the inside due to the heat. Then this begins to expand, much like you have a volcano eruption. And it expands and it expands and it expands. Well, it can't get out here because it's too thick. Well, I'm pressurizing on here, I can't get out of here. Oh, but there is this weak bit here. And then, depending on how much building up of that pressure there's been in there, you've then got this comet tail now coming off. And then you'll be like, whew, that comet is now no longer... Doesn't mean there isn't any gas left in there. It just means that there could be still gases left inside that comet. It's just that they're more they're so deep that there's so much mass around it that pressure is going to take a long time to build up before it ruptures out of there. So, and then the stuff that's more closer to the surface inside these crystals, which not all comets are potato shaped. That gives me another understanding. So that if we look at the Oort cloud and they're sort of meh, that's had something done to it. That's not how shards look when they come in from deep space. So those aren't deep space. They're from within. Because they've been shaped. That's not a shape I'd expect to see. I would expect to see more of a crystal structure.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Many of them are.
I wouldn't expect to see this.
Potatoid, yeah. Too roundish, sort of, isn't it?
But again, this one would be more so like this. This would be common because that looks like you got to think of a lava lamp. So we take a lava lamp, right? We turn it on and we
Yeah.
get it going.
Yeah.
And then I take the lava lamp whilst it's hot and I smash it into a freezer.
Yeah.
That wax is going to
Stay in blobs.
in blobs, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plus the star, if it's going to pop outwards in all multiple directions, what do you think this dwarf is waiting for? Oh, a nice big hunk of this, please.
And then what?
It gains mass.
Here.
If it holds on to this and it hits it in the right area, and it's not too big and it's not too small, I'm pretty sure, depending on what level this is at, if there are some trapped gases in there, it can fuse them. You'll have to molten it first. And if it gains enough mass, this star could probably, most likely, start fusion again. Imagine if this was in really good neighborhood where stars were pretty close together. And they all exploded similarly at the same sort of time. Bit of supernovae over there, bit of giant there, red giant there, bit more of this, and they all sort of pop, 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 and these shards come together and hit into this part.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it can do something with that. Maybe it could kill it completely out, perhaps. But I think it could reactivate it. And then if we look at Jupiter,
Yeah.
what happens if Jupiter gets a whole load of shards go into it? I think that would start fusion. Because of the mass.
Yeah, it's big, isn't it? It's a monster. And already something happening in it with the...
Most of these planets have a
With the
dominant
star.
gas of hydrogen.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing. They hold on to hydrogen pretty well.
So could they one after another become star?
You see, that's what I'm thinking. But the explosion, closer to Mercury, you ain't got a chance. Venus, probably not. Earth, I want to say no. Mars, potentially could be flicked out there. Because see, this then led me to understand about moons a little bit more. Where the hell did you all come from?
Yeah. The biggest
You
one.
look older than what you are. And you don't look like you were formed here because of the amount of potholes you've got on you. And then to say that the moon hit into Earth and then became molten. No, I'm not sure about that. I'm just not sure about that.
So it just hit into Earth. It was not much smaller. Well, smaller it is, but
That would buckle the magnetic field.
yeah, but it's not that smaller like other moons towards planets are much smaller.
No, I'm not sure it would have done that.
Yeah, it would have different effect, wouldn't it?
I'm just not
Stay-
sure that's it. I just can't. Oh, it's got the same elements over here. Yeah, but if a meteorite hit the Earth, it can break fragments off that appear to be a lot and land them on the moon.
Yeah. And the opposite way around, if there is just some breakage.
Gravity is weak, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got something coming in from super big speeds here and you clip the planet,
Yeah.
I think it's going to send an awful lot of shrapnel towards the moon.
Yeah. Could have been happening for a very long time as well.
And therefore, you're going to get a false positive when you go to test these areas of the moon.
Here. Here.
So the real prize is here.
On the other side.
But the back of the moon is weird.
That already tells you something.
That looks like a lot of things hit into that
Yeah.
and it moved. Yeah, and you could say that it's been collecting lots of micrometeorites or meteorites from outer space, and the moon has been shielding us from that.
Maybe it is, isn't it? Sorta.
Then why not the rest?
The rest doesn't shield it? I don't know. Depends where it is. When it... and something flies by. I don't know. Hard to say, isn't it?
Planets read 3.5 billion years, moons read 4.5 billion years. And you could say that this is because of atmosphere, rain, and different things like that. I don't think there is a very good way of testing this right now. And I think it would be a lie to state to all people everywhere, man, I can smell something really roasting away somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, I smell something burning. But I think it would be foolish to say that this is an accurate testing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it is.
Mm.
Honestly, I don't. Because there are so many different ways to test it, and I think the jury's still out. And I think the word "we think" is not being used enough in that. It's more like we know that this is older, this is younger, and that this X, Y, Z, all of these things. I'm just not sure about that. Because all of that dust that sits on the moon, you would have to go deep inside a cave to get the true origin of the moon's age. Think about it.
Yeah.
If it's been hit with micrometeorites and all of that dust there,
Yeah. It's all sort of dirty. You could call it
false
dirty.
positive, right?
Yeah, you could call it dirty that it's settling on its surface.
So to truly age it would be to get down really deep inside the moon and take a sample. Not on the outside or the surface. Not that I'm criticizing. I think it's remarkable how far things have come. But do you see how, without being...
Yeah.
And then this whole north and south, what's it for? Well, it's because the metal and this, that, and the other, and it creates this and it does that. Okay, then the star. Well, it's because of this, this, and this. All right, now Jupiter. Well, that's because it's metallic and this, this, and this. I mean, if you could see Jupiter's magnetic field, you know, it would appear to be the size of 4 full moons in the sky. And Saturn's, not so great. But it's still there. That's interesting. Mars? It hasn't got one. Well, there's remnants of magnetically charged.
Yeah.
It's almost like the core's popped out. You see, then that's very interesting as well, that is. Mars's lack of craters.
It doesn't have many?
Not like the arse end of the moon. So finding out when it lost its core.
Yeah, that you might tell.
Because once it lost its core, that can then help you understand. And then where does the moon crash into the Earth at that point?
Yeah.
And then if the moon has got all of those scars because it's been shielding Earth, then why does Mars not have many of them?
Yeah.
And without a magnetic field, therefore, with a weak atmosphere, I'd expect that to be more potted.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Maybe it doesn't attract that many.
No, because it's bigger than the moon. So therefore... And it doesn't have a magnetic field.
But could the magnetic field here play a role?
Okay, so my understanding of a magnetic field, we're going to get a bit complicated here, if I can help you understand it. Nothing in this universe is happening by accident.
Yeah.
I think that's rule of thumb, right?
Otherwise, too many accidents and nothing works.
North and south, right? And then a star explodes, and the northern side, a chunk from the northern side starts coming towards Earth.
Yeah.
And it's northern charged. Would this repel if it went anywhere near the north magnetic field?
Near north. I would say, I would think.
You think electromagnetic or magnets trying to put two norths together?
It doesn't work, does it? It repels. So would it send it south then?
Okay, now let's say the planet wants that. would it rotate towards it in order to attract more mass?
I don't know.
If you think about it, a meteorite of size and proportion of a large size, yes, especially a planet, let's say,
Yeah.
or an old one, and it's had volcanicity on the moon, so there must be some level of charge there.
Yeah.
Can it not use this to repel it capture it into its north-south equator?
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
It's total. It's over.
Yeah.
If two objects collide, that's over.
I don't know then.
And black holes as well. Are you sure that black holes aren't north and south? Now, why is this black hole traveling towards this black hole? Well, one must be turned south, north, and the other one must be north over south. Therefore, attraction. And is this how black holes move? Okay, so it's surrounded by a galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Why would a galaxy want to come together? That's the first question you want to ask. Second question is, how do they know to move towards one another?
Yeah.
You mean that's just going to be luck? That's just chance? And then, what if one galaxy is not compatible with another galaxy?
Don't know.
Well, then that's two galaxies colliding, and that's game over, then, isn't it?
Pop or something.
Right, which is not good for the black hole, and it's not good for the stars.
Yeah, so they would repel if they are not compatible or something.
And then we know that galaxies merge together. This has been seen, yes,
Yeah.
you can see this. But the thing is, why isn't it all destruction? This is why I don't believe it is all destruction. Because the stars then have north and south.
Yeah.
Well, why would the stars have north and south? Because there's this intricate dance of merging
Yeah.
the stars. Why do black holes feast and then choose not to feast? Then feast, then choose not to feast?
They have certain charge and
And how do some stars avoid the black hole's mouth?
yeah. How do they do that?
I think it's using the magnetism, their poles. They don't want to go in there. But the black hole's like, I really want you, though. And the star looks like it's going towards it, and it's like, not today!
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Mus, but, you know, if you don't like its loudness, you can just come sit up here, or you can chill out over there. What's up? So, north and south, magnetic field. Repel and attract.
Yeah.
Why else do you have magnetism?
Yeah, it helps you to move objects the way you want to.
So
or you
I
don't
can
want
theorize then, and I'm going to, is that, let's just draw me a very terrible galaxy here for a second.
Yeah.
I think it's a smooth dance. I don't think it's terrible, but whatever. I think it's a smooth dance of north, and then these ones might turn south, whereas this one's on south, which attracts towards this north. Therefore, the stars don't collide with one another. And there is this invisible force that we all can't detect because perhaps it's just beyond anything that humans have created yet, right? Us humans, we just so believe that we are so fucking good at everything, and yet there's loads of things happening right underneath our nose, and we don't even know it's there, but because we believe in all of this stuff, it's a belief system. Everything we do is a belief system. If you believe we know everything, then forget it, stop learning. Because there would be nothing else to learn. Because that person over there writ it all. Oh, and that person over there. There is no more. Come on, stop looking.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like atoms, doesn't it?
Oh, there we go. We're now getting on something here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Very good, because you see, I was going to move on to that, but I didn't want to muddy the water with this one too much. The empty space.
Yeah, empty space, and they look a little bit like atom, the galaxies that have the core, and then on the
Yeah, but there are different ones as well. because
yeah,
you've
on
got the-
their hands they have the planets and stars and whatever's there, which is bright. So it's like protons and neutrons in the core and electrons on the outside.
So do you think that it's been put in by the creator of being intelligence? We have intelligence. This whole universe is about intelligence, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is about
Yeah,
intelligence.
yeah. Yeah, it all has it, doesn't it?
Oh, you feel so closer to the maker. No, you see, it laugh probably because it's true, but no, I'm the overall of so then when you understand it, what is the universe is overall is collected intelligence.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that intelligence collected?
Yeah.
The collected intelligence.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Just for a second.
Yeah.
That cleverness.
Yeah.
Shit me, it made life, right?
Yeah.
Fuck me, humans had no play in that. Where's your superiority now?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'm only saying it, because it's exactly this.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is none. And a star is sitting there going, I'm more intelligent than you humans. And humans are like, I'm more intelligent than the star. And then the galaxy is like, oh, no, we're more intelligent than you. Yeah. It's just not happening. So, but collected intelligence. Lots of things being intelligent in many different ways. Wow, what a beautiful thing. So magnetism? Well, it's just fluky. It's an accident. Okay, we got another fluke to add to the pot then. So humans on planet, fluke. Now we've got magnetism. That is also a fluke. Why do galaxies merge then? Why does it bother? Oh, because it's a fluke. There's a lot of flukes here. Way too many to be fluky now, isn't it? A fluke on top of a fluke on top of a fluke. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And then if the moon crashed into the Earth,
Yeah.
but it didn't anywhere else, Io come flying in, and then I went boink. Oh, and then Jupiter was like, hey, come on. They both turned Yeah, I don't know if I can accept that as a theory, because it's like just Earth had this experience, and I'm not saying that it doesn't have problems with this process, but it seems more likely to me that the moon came from elsewhere.
Yeah.
So when stars explode, the outer, what we call dwarf planets. So Neil deGrasse Tyson said that Pluto, it's not worthy of my. He ain't half bloody wrong. Wait, right? He's correct. I fully understand this. Straight away, to start with, I didn't get it, right? I didn't understand it. But actually, yeah. Yeah. When a star explodes, what do you think happens to all these little dwarf ones? They look like moons.
They are moved towards some.
Well, they could be scattered into the.
Yeah, towards some.
But if you think they're getting out of the galaxy.
No, they are caught somewhere in the next star system, or maybe go through few if they are lucky. No, lucky, I wouldn't say lucky, but if they happen to miss all the gravitational areas where they would stick.
Yeah, then I think there's northy southy, and then it wants to put all of these things around the northy southy, and then we look at black holes. We want everything around the northy south.
Yeah.
And yet, from our perspective, looking into a galaxy, everything seems to have its mirror image space to one another.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not random, it seems placed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everything whipping up and down versus moving, whirling around. It's very placed.
Yeah. I would like to see model of a galaxy rotating and how also the
Clockwork.
yeah
Just
the
think
hands
clockwork.
or whatever it's called, the ends, how they are, because it's rotating in so many ways, isn't it? And I wonder if the galaxy over time rotates this way too.
Yeah, I believe it does. But again, it's not going to if it's already on a.
Yeah. Yeah.
If all the stars work together with the black hole,
Yeah.
they bring in an abundance of new resources into them. Think about it.
Yeah.
And then you got to ask yourself, did the neutrino know what its purpose was to make the black hole? Because stars were like, you know what we need? Even in death, it knows what it needs.
Yeah. And when you bring those two together, you rekindle some dying objects, don't you?
And then it
Restart
also
fusion.
tells you that some things just don't die.
Mm.
They transform.
Yeah, and some things are moved on.
Well, everything
by-
transforms, but the neutrino especially is very interesting. Starts its life as a star.
Yeah.
I believe this has a lot of planets around it, more than most. That's what drives the magnetism, is my understanding. But again, take what you want with that.
Yeah.
And then even in its death, what you would class as a star death,
Yeah.
it doesn't die. It goes on to live for, well, if you believe the black holes...
Living encompasses a vast and complex array of processes and experience.
Yeah, lovely.
Magic. I don't know where you are.
The neutrino turns into black hole, transforms into a black hole,
Yeah.
then makes it towards the center of the galaxy. Now, let's say that black hole in the center of that galaxy, so from what we understand as a neutrino star,
Yeah.
if it was just an ordinary star, it's only going to last from point A to point B.
Yeah.
But again, this doesn't fit any models of creation or whatever on Earth. From a human perspective, you would understand that light from point A to point B
Yeah.
goes invisible, let's say. And then if it outlives the entirety of the universe, again, there's another theory that I dropped forward where black holes don't want to die on their own. Doesn't mean that they can't. It's like stars saying that stars want all their space. Not all of them do. Some will collide and do other things. But from what we understand as a star life,
Yeah.
it usually lives from here to here.
Uh-huh.
And somebody's like, you know what? You're going to live from here to here. Now, what that point C is and where that goes to, well, it could be an awful long way from there. But it most certainly wasn't here to here.
Yeah.
It also has a knowing in it. That it knows that it's going to go and then start collecting up other stars and begins to bring them together. Why? What did the neutrino understand then? That's the question. It understood something. There's intelligence there. It understood something. It's not a question I'm asking for you to answer or anyone to answer, but there's a purpose.
Yeah.
A few things it never forgot. North and south.
Yeah. So does it look like fusion when star turns neutrino star? Does it look like fusion of sort of when star turns into
Well, if you think about it, it starts off with the fusion process and then it flips into a diffuser.
Oh. Okay.
Well, it understands fusion process, fusion process,
Yeah.
and then it understands diffusing. Have that black hole come onto another star
Yeah.
and it will defuse that star in order to devour it. Diffusion is
Yeah.
reverse.
Yeah, yeah.
Is reverse of fusion.
Okay.
So it can take, among many things, it can take iron and diffuse it
Yeah.
back into hydrogen gas.
Yeah.
And it can grow a little bit in the process because it's just filled up with gas.
Yeah.
Therefore, compressed gas should be colder, so a black hole should be a lot colder than anything else in the universe. So when you look at the universe as being, well, as we know, outer space, our part of space,
Yeah.
the depths where Voyager is, that's going to be a different story altogether, right? So what that temperature is, but what we understand around the planet, let's say, just out in the sun's still influence, is minus 350. Yes?
Yeah, minus 350.
Anything beyond the heliopause could be minus 650, could be minus 1,000, could be so much more, you don't know. But black holes are definitely considerably colder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stars are considerably hotter.
Hotter.
Certain stars must be operating hotter than other stars.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
So one knows fusion and this one knows
I know
diffusion.
diffusion. Yeah.
And then if this manages, a theory that I pumped out is correct, then that potential black hole
Yeah.
could then become a star again in the next process. And then when does it truly die?
That is a good question. Does it?
Or it transforms?
Yeah. It changes into something else.
Now, unless there's an intelligence, which I believe there is, there would be a purpose, designated purpose
Yeah.
for certain constellations, certain stars, certain time frames, certain
Yeah. Yeah.
in the overall intelligence of the universe. It seems to
Put it all together somehow.
yes. Now, whether that intelligence is going to stay there for a particular reason to allow the apparatus to go, but the overall intelligence of the universe could manipulate,
Yeah.
you could say, I don't like that word, or could overly influence,
Yeah.
push the envelope. It doesn't have to do this next time over.
Yeah.
There can be a change in the way things come together next time. It's learnt one part of it. Well, if you think about it, and that's if it holds memory, therefore it needs life forms to hold memories. Why do you need to hold memories if you can create a life form? And if a life form can create computers which hold memory better than life forms, why do you need life forms?
Yeah. Yeah.
But in essence, you have just taught it how to create that.
Yeah.
So just like you've created a robot, the universe can choose to create this with or without your help.
Yeah. Yeah.
You hold the memory. So indirectly, you hold memories. You hold a memory of this particular galaxy. If there's something here, it holds the memory of that particular galaxy. There you have different memories in different areas to different mixing pots, let's say.
Yeah.
Then does the universe need to remember if it created you as a byproduct that does remember? Hence why, when you die, my personal belief, could be yours, might not be.
Yeah.
You don't take your money. You don't take all of these other people with you, or your armies and whatnot, and whatever else you want to stack around you as your treasury or whatnot, whatever it may be. You don't take that with you. It's your knowledge.
Yeah. Makes sense, doesn't it? Because the people and whatever's left here is for another purpose.
And if it made you here, it can make you over there. And therefore it doesn't have to make you there here because you're already made but over there. Then if you remove all of these, what we would call intelligent life forms from these biomes, what would the next lot do without it? Do they go on to create? Do they push forward? Do they not do? This is then understood as cherry picking.
Mm-hmm.
If you could memorize all the people that existed at the time and the processes down
Yeah.
to a fine art,
Yeah.
why would you need the rest?
Mm. Yeah.
So it only needs one vessel to be able to know this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing.
Yeah.
Not saying that it does need one vessel or multiple vessels or blah blah blah. Yeah. And therefore, that's why I say you can't bullshit the universe. Well, you can't bullshit the knowing. You can't bullshit it.
Yeah, because it knows. It knows more. It knows what it's doing.
It knows what it gave you, and it knows what you did with what it gave you.
Yeah.
So if you steal whatever and whatever and whatever, that's why it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In the last video, I think I said it, that you can bullshit a whole population, but you can't bullshit the universe,
No.
which I call divine, collective.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, you must be mad, or you gotta be crazy, or this, that. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. If you think that's crazy, don't lift the curtain. So yeah, I'm going to go along with this in this theory here.
Yeah.
The north and south is for pulling things in and trying to repel certain things. And why would the planet be keeping this for later? I don't understand that. But it could stop it from having mass destruction of the planet itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would have to say that this doesn't want to die. Then you could say that the star doesn't want to die. And this then backs it up with a neutrino that doesn't want to die. It becomes the black hole. So there must be some shared knowledge, or this knows something that the rest may not be aware of whilst they're building their star. Blah, 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 blah. This one then knows to act a certain way, which then draws in more. And then again, you could say that this neutrino probably got on really well with the collective. And the collective was like, hey, the overall intelligence of the universe. Hey, you want to be, do you want me to let you into a little secret? Oh yeah, what's that then? If you go get this,
Yeah.
we'll see what the rest of the stars can cook up with some more. Because over there, that knowing would know that there's a different sort of mixing going on over there to what's been done here, but it's pondering what happens if these become mixed together.
Yeah.
Well, I got 10% of life on that one and 10% of life over here on the grand scheme of things. I wonder what happens if you mix them.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I wonder what happens if they mix. Another one that I was probably talking about many years back in Griffin Court. Love those times. I love these ones as well.
Yeah.
Not sure. Shades of grey. But the mixing process, the mix. You're making multiple new something, and then you've got the ones that will stay with what they are. That there's a mix again and a mix again from here. And then if they begin to mix themselves, and then these new forms mix back with these ones, what are you creating? Just see how it keeps on going.
Yeah.
So you have one that mixes with the other, yes?
Yeah.
That starts off with mixing. The outcome is mix, yes? Mix. A mix that then can be remixed back into the other. These ones can mix with here, which then creates a new mix over here, which then these ones... Oh man, I love this. I love this. When it all starts to come together, it's like a tapestry. And then mixing, and then it makes you wonder what the Egyptians understood.
Yeah.
Can't remember what that's called now. That shape, that pattern. I don't know. I could draw it to that pattern.
Hexagon, pentagon.
No. The thing with the Egyptians that they made, not just the Egyptians. You've also got where you've got the cross inside there, and you've got the ankh inside there. And,
Oh, I don't know that from.
this whole.
I understand.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know the one I'm on about.
I don't know.
Where they sort of draw it like this, and this one goes over here, and this one goes over here, and perhaps like this, and you've got the ones that go across here, and then some of them are talking about the ones over here. Yeah, that's pretty much but you might as well draw 2 of those and then join them together, and you might as well make 4 of those and join them together. But try 8, try 1,000. Get robots to do it. I'm sure they'll do it better. I'm surprised AI hasn't already revealed that. Tell it this information, program it with that knowledge, and then see what it comes up with. And then, rather than looking at that as symbology and all the rest of it, which you might be able to make these little symbol signs with that make groups of people gravitate towards them for not quite a clear reason, you can make even more symbols from that. So you could, I can't remember what it's called now. It's got a special name for it. It really doesn't matter, whatever you call that. There's my version there, which is not mine, technically. It's the universe's. And then you could say the collective. And then this, if you think finding true love inside your own nation is something, right? But you want to try and take it across the whole entire planet, do you think that actually your true love could be here? What do you know? If there was life elsewhere, right? The first thing, I think, well, it's not the first thing, but you could get ahead of the curve, right? Everyone loves to be ahead of the curve. So let's say you've got life forms on here. That are compatible, similar to humans, and then you got another set of life forms over here, and then we start talking about love and stuff. How do you not know that the universe doesn't know who your true connection is? So you could spend your time on the planet with someone, and believing, oh, I love this person, I'm going to marry you and all the rest, or whatever it may be you do, each to their own. Then you get with that person, believe that they were what you thought they were, but then the universe was like, you know what? Or the overall intelligent power, call it what you want, God, I don't even know, how many are there? Different religions? There's so many, Because most people marry to the higher power, yes? But how do you not know that the higher power knows a vessel over here that is exactly compatible to a vessel over here, but they've never met? Would you trust the universe or the collective or the universal power to matchmake you better than yourself? Sorry, am I confusing you?
No, you are not.
Giving you enough to think about?
I just wonder if there is such a thing, even like that there is one somewhere.
Okay, if there is such a thing, so surrounded in doubt, how do we eliminate doubt? Oh, okay then. Andromeda Galaxy, we fast forward into the future by a lot, and Andromeda starts getting closer, and there are life forms waving on that planet, and the life forms here are like, right? And they're all waving and different stuff like that. How do you not know your true love isn't on there? And then once you had that, because it's going to be very confusing with who's who. Wouldn't it be interesting that if, like, across the dynamics of the planet, there are different understandings of the higher power, what if they have the same thing? I mean, that's people will still be like, we still are unsure about this, you know? And then you have another life forms come over, and let's just say it was all peaceful and that, and they would be talking of this higher power and this. They might call it something else that was guiding them. Maybe theirs is somewhere else in their foot. They probably feel it in their foot, or maybe they feel it in their hand or whatnot. Who knows? But the principle being the same. And then on their biome, there's like multiple different versions of understanding this higher power. And then on this one, there's the higher power. And then on the other one, there's a higher power. Do you think they'll all collaborate together and still be like, I don't know if I believe in a higher power. I'm a hardcore atheist. And then if you were to get to that sort of stage, I think
it really depends, because atheists are not against higher power, or are they? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. No, nothing towards an atheist.
No, it's. I just wonder if
someone
really thinks that God is a old man with white beard, and someone else doesn't think that, and someone else thinks something different, and they might all be the same religion, even the same.
Yeah, but what if they all think it? That it's a. And then I would say to those there, okay, draw it. and they draw something that looks reminiscent to them, and then another one here will draw what's reminiscent to their species, and so on in the subspecies with what they understand, and it's all good. Do you honestly think that the universe is going to get hung up, or is going to smile at the differences that are there, but you're all on about the same thing, right? No, never mind. It's probably just too far forward just to grab the concept, to be honest, I think, but don't want to step on any toes, but at the same time, well, I mean, well, I got a lot to talk about then, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because then who's got the truest drawing then?
Yeah. Yeah. Who got it right, maybe?
And then I ask the stars, who's yours? And they draw this big star. And I ask flowers, what's your understanding of it? Well, they wouldn't draw me something, but they probably grow something to mimic this and understand that. Meh. But yeah, so again, like I said, how do you know where true love is? Would you trust your own instincts, or would you trust something that was intent? I mean, when you get to that stage, I don't think there'll be any more questioning. Or would there?
Maybe there's always questions, isn't there? When you know more, you have always more questions.
Are you sure?
Okay, maybe you don't. I don't know. I thought you did. You wanted to know more, no?
Do you think that something that was overall intelligent, what question would you ask it? And then, do you think that it would know all the answers to everything?
Would it? Probably not. Would it? Or are there parts that know something and they cannot tell you because they do not have mouth and they do not have way to communicate with you? Or
I think it's doing an all right sort of job.
yeah.
I don't know. I just like thinking out the box like that. Just yeah.
I know.
They said shrink down your problems. Okay then. I did it. But you just notice how many more other things that just came in focus. You never said that would happen, but no, I mean, those are the things I'm sweating it about. Well, I'm not really sweating it. It's not a problem. But again, no, tried it out. What do you think I was going to shrink? Where am I going to find the money for that energy bill next month? I mean...
Shrink the bill.
Yeah, no, I wasn't shrinking that. I was shrinking something else. Something else I've been trying to ponder for a while. It's like asking Einstein, isn't it, really? If you go and ask him, shrink this problem. Make all of these things smaller. Okay. I think he'd break brain cells everywhere. And then Tesla as well. I mean, because their problems are not the everyday problems, right? Steve Jobs and whoever else, their mundane stuff is not yours. What you class as mundane. But yours might not be mundane, it might be massive, but you shrink it down to a mundane sort of...
Yeah, I agree to that. Yeah.
I found that this moved other things into focus doing this. Yeah, how do I shrink this one? I'm not really sure now. Yeah, I'm trying. But yeah, no, so the whole mixing process and everything. And then there's capability as well. Yes, it's not going to be capable, and it might be capable. But then technologies, and then which way did it go? And then who's got the best technology out of all? I mean, what sort of logo do you want? I want one that's like Universal Intelligence logo. I want to put that on everything. What does that mean? Universal Intelligence. Why is that? Well, it's a futurist... Never mind. Never mind.
Combine all of them and maybe you'll get it.
Yeah, I don't know, but yes, still, I'll ask that question. So, Do you trust your own senses, or would you trust something that was more? Because it's all about perceived reality and perception, yes? Well, we start talking about time warp. Like I said, if you're having a bad day somewhere, going through an exam and all the rest of it, time is going very slowly. And then it's your birthday, maybe, or you're doing something that you couldn't wait for, your holiday, and then
Christmas.
swing, it's just gone by. No, Christmas is a duality.
Christmas
The
Eve.
run up to Christmas. Oh man, it's really slow, right? It's like it really slows down, and then Christmas Day and after it, boom, you're back in school again.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
It's
It was like
on Christmas Eve, it's already like picking up speed, isn't it?
this is why I like Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, and the shiny and the lights and all that. I'm a sucker for all that stuff. That's beautiful. But the whether it is what type of religion and different stuff, or this and it's pagan,
Some
or
celebration,
it's
happy,
not that
happy,
part of
quick,
it. It's
yeah.
the one part is all of the sensory stuff, the sounds, it just insults in a very nice way all of your senses, right?
Yeah.
Visually, the ear receptors are going off, then the smell receptors, all of that smell, and well, not here, but again, yeah, it's one out of many, but so yeah, it just sort of like highlights everything, right? So I kind of like that overwhelmness. This is why you like perhaps fruit machines, maybe.
Fruit machines. Yeah.
Or
They
is
are
this
made
the-
like that,
or-
aren't
right,
they?
yeah,
Colorful and yeah.
lovely. It's got a much more deeper meaning than that. But still, again, and summer and stuff again, because all the sounds out in summer. Again, this is why I like summer as well. But also winter, man, it all quietens down. Like a lot of ringing in the ears. It's not tinnitus, by the way. This is just everything goes quiet, unless you've got some wind blowing outside or something. Other than that, it's not really much in the wake of birds singing. Not many animals are about. But in the summer, it all gets going, right? And then there's the heat, the warmth again. Christmas is much more like this. People used to have fire, or the warmth comes, you go in from the cold into the warmth. Very nice. Very good, right? So, yeah, all of that sort of overwhelming on the senses. That I like.
Yeah.
So it's not really about it could be anything, really, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just that overwhelmingness on the senses. I like that. Anyway, I didn't even know where I was going with that. Well, I do, but I lost the train of thought. It'll come back to me. Maybe it just wasn't mine to share. More to experience. But yeah, it's very nice.
Time warp.
Time warp, yes, indeed. So yeah, the one thing about summer is it's sort of like as it starts to get here, and then before you know it, the end of the year. So for me, the year flies really fast, and then except for this year, and then it slows right down before you reach the peak of summer, and then as soon as summer hits, so it reminds me of that. So I get that kind of twice a year then. But Christmas is the same. That sort of lead up to it, and then which is very interesting. So I kind of like that time warping. That's very interesting. But I was going to say something on top of that, but it kind of went. But I'm starting to land again from this all of this conversation here. So by choice. So I'm just sort of coming back to reality, and then what am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to go and do something else, I think. So I'm going to leave this video here. It has been exciting. I enjoy all of these, by the way. But it just gets you thinking, right? So magnetism, the small stars, let's say, the galaxies that know how to merge. Again, it can kind of look like the illusion things are coming together. Other ones look like they're moving away from you. But again, if you can't see beyond that limit, because you're limited to what you can see over there, how do you not know that isn't going to merge with something else? If you watch it long enough, and you were here long enough, perception. There we are. It come back to me. So yeah, no, I will dive back into that, because, it unpops like a packet. Everything is about perception, right? So it's all perceived, yes? And then there's that fast and slow, right? Beautiful, yeah? Have you ever had a day where it just feels like Groundhog Day every day? No, I really don't get that.
No.
It fluctuates. So love is perception. It's perceived. Did you know that? Do you know that?
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
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 Because have you ever heard anyone say that I thought I loved that person? Then, or you might dismiss someone that you don't like because you feel that you don't like that person, but you don't know why you don't like that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
But then you just sort of slow down or you speed up to their sort of energy. And when you do, you're sort of like, I got you wrong. Do you get what I mean? Sort of thing? Have you ever had that experience?
Yeah, at school sometimes, like not directly with love, but guessing how the teacher will be or new classmates when you go to new place, and you're like, oh my God, I don't like those people, and then you are quite friendly with them, and they are all right, and they don't make you any troubles, and you can go on lunch, on break together, it's fine, and something like that. Perception that first it's like it and then it's okay.
Or more so, if someone has told you a reality of theirs about a person,
Yeah.
you're not really all into that sort of stuff, but I hear this a lot. When I first saw you, they'll say,
Yeah.
I got you wrong. What the hell does that mean? Well, they sort of dive into what they've heard something, but it didn't match up to what they heard.
Yeah.
So usually they assume, and then I'm put in a position where I have to be around these individuals for a particular reason or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then there is that. They'll call you a dark horse or something like that.
Dark.
Yeah. First impressions for me, I don't come across very well. And then when people get to know you, then and I've had this experience myself with others too. So yeah, kind of, you know, I wasn't gonna. I'm not going to go through that again, like sort of thing. I'm not gonna, so I try not to judge on first glances, let's say, or this, that, and the other, or what someone has told me about somebody. I tend to try and get to know people before. I don't know. Sometimes I can be a little bit,
Yeah.
but that I'm on about that perceived reality. That is perception. So some people will say that they thought they loved that person. They thought this, they thought that. Therefore, they had an idea, an expectation. So you could believe that you were in love with someone, and then I don't know, because it sounds sort of shallow, but at the same time, it doesn't. Shades of grey, right? Where some people might say, because I've heard this. Well, why did you not stay with that person anymore? It just didn't. We just grew apart, or this, and this. But then if you speak to them individually, they seem the same as what they were when they were 18. And yeah, I sort of see a character. Yeah, they've learned some new behaviors along the way as well. Or other people discover them because perhaps maybe they've learned some new behaviors. If you irritate or this, that, and the other, then you sort of have that sort of reaction, counter reaction. It's a whole different story. But anyway, yeah, just that. So you believe, man, I'm getting deja vu like anything. It's crazy. I don't even know if I've ever said this before. I don't think I have. Wow, that is strong. Cool. I get this a lot, by the way. It usually means something, but I'm not going to discuss it here. So, yeah, I don't know. Shades of grey with this one. But you could believe that you were in a loving relationship that served a purpose on Earth, and then what happens if you knew of them more? Would there be an energy that aligns with your energy more so than any energy that you could find in your biome? Think about that.
It's possible. Universe is big, isn't it? And we have no idea.
And then if you could make eternal life, then this, if I say if, I think there are 3 ways. 3 ways. then you got to ask that question. If life was shorter, do you think people would come together quicker and feel more passionately in love? But what about if you made eternal life? Do you think this changes love? Do you think this makes people get bored of people more easily with the more time, less time? They become more... Yeah, one thing I
Or
always
is
say...
it completely different reality when it's eternal?
Well, you take a lot for granted if it's eternal.
Okay.
Well, of course, yeah. I think you've got to be at a level, a certain awareness before...
I don't know. I think that it's so different. Do people like each other more in this reality? Is it like or creatures or
New behaviors are picked up, old behaviors are dropped down. You sort of transition. But there's got to be a sort of how do I say this? How can I compare it? Stone Age, people were more respectful of the planet, and all they lived within the structure.
Yeah.
Now it's not so much within it. Yes,
Yeah.
and then there becomes a lot of imbalances. Let's say, yeah. Would you feel me on that?
Yeah.
Now take it up a next level, eternal life, and then you live within the universe. Would you live in the balance? Or would you live to disrupt the balance? That's the awareness type of thing I'm
If you
talking
live
about.
forever, like eternally, it's good to live with the universe and not disturb it, isn't it?
And if you can't love yourself, and you can't love others, and you can't love everything, how can you live within that as to show respect?
Maybe you decide not to live then if you can. I don't know. No, it's not possible. Then I don't know.
So that emotion of love, to amplify that. Yeah, I kind of understand that. Before, not really I didn't really... I've been labeling that as something else. But anyway, each to their own. Awareness becomes aware. I don't know. Anyway, shades of grey. But still, I don't know. There was something else I was going to say. Yeah. So true love is two energies, two stars, if you like. Well, there's a lot more, but let's just say two heart stars, let's say then, reverberating at the same frequency. But could you imagine all people vibrating at the same frequency? Which is not true. You have fluctuations.
And everyone at different time fluctuations.
Yes.
So that might set them on the same frequency but different frequencies at the same time.
Well, yeah, sort of, bit like a tide. Yeah. Whoa. Sorry, I was focusing in on the light. It's fascinating. Wow, I can see it, I don't know, whatever. Well, it's gone now, but whoa! I was focusing in on something else, right? So sometimes it's a bit more than other days, but yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I think this has been a nice video, so we touched on quite a bit.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I'm now sort of coming away from that for a second, and maybe I'll dive in again tomorrow, or maybe I won't. I don't know.
Okay.
All good.